Hi everybody, bit of last minute cleaning. Start the winter period, a bit of time to reflect and get on with the cleanup. Come back to my incubators where I left them, where I just abandoned them, as you do when you finish with them, chucked to one side at the end of the season and found the whole thing was mouldy inside. So I've gone through it all, bleached it all, and now it's all clean. And put that away now, let it dry, and it'll be dry for the winter. But it was just to say that I wanted to just mention that for me this time of year, it's like such a great time because you've got all the memories of all the problems and all the excitement you had of the year, but at the same time you've got time to reflect and time to plan your next year. And for me, planning next year is one of the most important things, because for me I've got so much prep to do now. Like, the clock is ticking, literally. We've got 6 weeks till Christmas at the most. I'm actually going to be away. I'm going back to Hawaii to see Alicia for Christmas, and when I come back, it'll be January the 3rd. So then we'll be on the countdown. It'll be, 12 weeks, and we'll be straight back into the next season. So I've got mini plus boxes to get ready, to clean out. I've got queen rearing stuff to finish cleaning up, which I've virtually finished now. I've got hives to get ready. I've got frames for the mini plus to make. I've got minute boxes to finish. We've got metal inserts to put inside. There is literally a list as long as my arm to do, and I don't know how I'm going to get around it all in time. Because we're also going to make eeks for the more feeder eeks for my poly feeders, about another 100 of those. So it is just never ending. What I'm going to have to do is just prioritise it, but I've got to be ready for mid-April this year. Last year I haven't. As well as all my bee work, I've got a load of work here to do at my house. I've got all my hedges to get cut. I've got all those kind of things to get done, which has to be done. And I usually try and do them before it gets really cold. And I'm probably going to be beaten again this year, because as from this week, we've got a cold weather wave coming in. But you can only do what you can do. So anyway, plan your winter wisely. For me, it's just full on. Prioritising. It's as busy really as it is in the summer, because now I get the time to catch up on stuff that I didn't do at the end of the season, and there's a lot. I found one thing, that when you become a professional you have to be so strict with your priority and what you do, and anything when you take time off you certainly pay for it later. But at the moment I'm as jour, as they say here, up to date, but only just, and the clock is ticking. So get on, get your cleaning done, get some things sorted out. That's what I'm doing now in prep for next year. The winter prep has started. So the other great thing I love about this time of year is when you're going through and doing your cleaning, you can, in terms of reflection, you can work out what has worked and what hasn't. You can start discussions, you can look at your stock, you can do a stock take, you can get all those little important things done, because you've got to order your stuff now. If you do order stuff from places like China, they often take 6 weeks to get here. Stupid little things you might need. I'm not talking about main stuff I buy. I'm talking about all the little things, like maybe a flight cage or a net, or all the little things you can get cheaply that you have to organise in time. You don't want to be ordering them in February, you want to be ordering them now, so that by the time you come back from wherever you've done your Christmas, and all that, things start to arrive, and it gives you that encouragement, and you start to get things into place. Because once that starts again next year, it's just all go. You're straight back into that that cycle of, for me, it'll be working my production hives, getting them ready for the spring flow, then start the queen rearing, and then everything progresses from there. And it's just that build up at the start. And if you start on the good foot, it really helps you launch into the season, and you have time to get it right. I've made so many mistakes in the last 2 years that this year I'm determined to do fundamental things that will help me get a good start to the season. And once you get a good start, and if the weather is good, which I'm hoping for this time, in the first time in 2 years, we'll actually have a decent spring, in 2019, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have a slightly longer season, because the last 2 years I've actually managed to kind of get a few weeks extra at the end of the season because the weather's been really good, but I'm just hoping for a change. We can actually have a good start and slightly earlier spring, not into mid-May before things kick off. We've, in times gone by, we've had really good starts to March, and March is a really key time if you can get into your colonies. But for me, if I could do that, it would make such a difference, because we'll be straight into organising stuff, and we know where we are then early on without having to rush into that spring. Another thing I like to do this time of the year is start scouting out sites. If you're looking for a new apiary site, it gives you time to go to the area you're looking at. You can use obviously Google Earth or use a drone, things like that, and suss out what the forage is, but also get in contact with, for instance, the farmer or the landowner where you want to put those hives. Start making inquiries now, because it will not be long before you're ready to move your nukes to that new site. And I found in the past, from my own experience, that when I was looking for places to put swarm traps, when I was looking for places to put new apiaries, it's so important to start that communication now, because everybody, including farmers, is actually a little bit quieter now. And they don't want you turning up in April saying, oh, can I put some bees on your land next week? They're like, They like to have that in their head, digest it, and then you come back to them 2 or 3 times. You wave as you drive past, you show them that you're serious, and you give them that commitment, and they'll give you that commitment in return, because that's what you want. You want to build a professional relationship with these people, because they want a commitment. They want to see that you're courteous, they want to see that you're timely, they want to see that, basically that you know what you're doing, and that you act in a manner that you carry yourself properly, because at the end of the day, when you're professional, or when you've got quite a few colonies of bees, you have to manage them properly. And you want to find a place where you can do that. Now, you can find some places that are really not good enough to do that, but you need to find a site that, for instance, you can drive into. All these little things are all really important. And when you first meet people, you've got to get that right. You've got to get that good relationship going, because you've got to be able to come and go as you please and whenever you want. And I use this time of year to do that. I've got a new apiary I'm opening up. It's a little bit further north from here, and it's probably one of my furthest north apiaries, but it's a farm again where a guy raises strawberries. And I've been there 2 or 3 times in the autumn, and smashing chap, and all they want me to do is give them bees in there around their strawberry farm, so that they'll go into their tunnels, and believe it or not, but that works for me, because a lot of my the area where it's in is actually a fantastic valley as well, so it's going to benefit me. So this is what I like to do. This is and also when I used to do a lot of swarm trapping, I used to go and scout areas, and funnily enough, a lot of the places where I used to put swarm traps before I stopped trapping AMM, that's the local bees that are around here in chimneys and trees and stuff like that. I don't trap those anymore, because I now raise my own bees from my own queens. But when I was doing that, I met a lot of people, and funnily enough, those people I met at farms were now the places where I have apiaries, because I developed that relationship. And it's just so important to build that properly. And it really works well, because where I am here, actually, the other thing to mention is that it's a very rural and farming background. So people actually really, they kind of appreciate the fact you're trying to do something in a kind of farming way. I actually get people phoning me up now saying, can I put bees there, which is brilliant. But just use the time wisely. If you want to find a new apiary, get 3 or 4 in mind, and don't be afraid to approach people and ask, because that's what I do. And I usually find if you're really realistic and you do it in a way that is careful and respectful, you'll have no problems at all. So in terms of next year, I know I just mentioned I've got some other things coming up, but I've invested in a little bit of equipment that will hopefully give some better videos. Okay, so I've got this really cool gimbal. It's a Smove, which is going to help me produce hopefully better videos. You know, we're going to see how that goes. I've had a few complaints as to, oh, your video's all shaky, so that will help me do things on the selfie stick. And also, big investment is my little Spark. Now this is absolutely amazing. I don't know if many of you have seen this, but it's like such a cool piece of kit. You can get amazing video, and it does great shots of bees and your beekeeping while you're working, and also of the surrounding area, which is so amazing here. To have this to be able to get some shots is just so cool. But anyway, that will be for next year, and because I need to learn how to fly the blinking thing first, because it's not that easy, but it'll come. Just need some practice. But anyway, that's what's coming for next year. If there's anything to give you more encouragement is to have a look at some queen cells that you saved that hatched out. Just look at that. I mean, I just go, it makes me go like, oh, I just love looking at this over the winter, because you just think of those lovely queens that hatched out, in that you made these queens and you made sure they were full of royal jelly and everything was perfect. And if there's anything to give you more encouragement for next year and getting organised, it's seeing that. So, bit of fun, but I love it. Good for demo purposes, good for doing some talks over the winter. People love to see queen cells, and I do too, because it just gives you that encouragement. So anyway, whatever you're doing, have a good end to the season. I'm going to be doing less videos over the winter, but I'll do a few more. I've got one coming up on the nectar flow, which I will finally do. And for next year, I don't quite know which direction we're going to go yet, but I've got some good ideas, and I'm going to focus on what I love doing the most, and that is keeping bees. Videos every now and again with different things.